Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into a serious issue in the world of marine conservation: the brutal practices of industrial fishing vessels in the North Pacific. These vessels are not just catching fish, they're engaging in activities that are shockingly unethical and illegal. From rendering fish into oil to harpooning dolphins for shark bait, it's a grim picture of the high seas. One of the most disturbing practices is the rendering of fish into oil. This process makes it impossible to determine if the fish are legally caught, which is a huge problem. But it's not just about the fish. These vessels are also harpooning dolphins, cutting their bodies into chunks to attract sharks. It's a brutal and unnecessary practice that's been going on for years. The sharks themselves are caught using illegal gear and then their fins are hacked off for market. The sharks are then shoved overboard, still alive, which is a cruel and callous act. This is happening on the high seas between Victoria and Tokyo, and it's a serious issue that needs to be addressed. Canada is taking a stand against these illegal practices. For the fourth consecutive year, a Canadian Coast Guard ship, officers from Fisheries and Oceans Canada, and the RCMP led a multi-country mission to crack down on fishing fleets beyond the 200 nautical mile limit. The goal is to catch those who aren't playing by international rules, taking too much or hiding what they catch. And it's paying off. Officials said the international fleet is starting to expect Canadian patrols, which is a positive sign. The mission, called Operation North Pacific Guard, spent 56 days on the high seas covering more than 10,000 nautical miles. It involved armed Canadian fisheries authorities and other partners, including Japanese, Korean, and U.S. counterparts. Satellite tracking technology was used to locate ships, and a Canadian aircraft tracked the vessels and provided video to Canadian boarding crews. The mission reported 52 potential violations of international fisheries rules and documented poor living and working conditions for fishing crews. Most of the vessels found with illegal catches or infractions were part of Asian distant water fleets, flagged in countries like China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and Russia. The scale of the problem is significant. More than 1,100 vessels are registered to fish in the high seas of the North Pacific, with about 400 operating during the mission. Some of these vessels are huge, commercial-scale ships with 60 to 80 people on board. They have huge capacity, and if they are engaged in illegal activity, they could have an incredibly destructive impact. One of the major concerns is the rendering of fish into oil. Large Russian ships with fish oil rendering tanks on board, some exceeding 70,000 liters, were initially noticed last year. The scale of rendering is significant, and it's impossible to inspect the oil for what kind of fish was caught. Canada is working with the international community to determine what can be done. Canada is also working with the ship's flag states to support further investigations and fines, and potential sanctions on offending vessels. Last year, a Taiwanese fishing boat captain was sentenced to more than 2 years in prison for harpooning 43 dolphins used for shark finning. This is a significant jail sentence, and it's hoped it will have a strong deterrence for years to come. The mission also reported a drop in the number of dolphin kills this season from other years, but it's too early to see a trend. Canadian Coast Guard officials said Canada's involvement in North Pacific fisheries enforcement is making a dent in the problem of illegal fishing. DFO has been involved since 2019 and has led the mission since 2021. In conclusion, the issue of illegal fishing in the North Pacific is a serious one that needs to be addressed. It's a global threat that undermines fish populations and marine environments, and it has a significant impact on fair markets and global seafood supply chains. Canadian efforts to combat this issue are a positive step, but there's still a long way to go. We need to continue to raise awareness and take action to protect our oceans and marine life.